The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. It was before the festival of the Passover, and Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to pass from this world to the Father. He had always loved those who were his in the world, but now he showed how perfect his love was. They were at supper, and the devil had already put into the mind of Judas Iscariot, son of Simon, to betray him. Jesus knew that the Father had put everything into his hands, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. And he got up from table, removed his outer garment, and taking a towel, wrapped it round his waist. He then poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel he was wearing. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "At the moment you do not know what I am doing, but later you will understand." "Never," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus replied, "If I do not wash you, you can have nothing in common with me." "Then, Lord," said Simon Peter, "not only my feet, but my hands and my head as well." Jesus said, "No one who has taken a bath needs washing. He is clean all over. You too are clean, though not all of you are." He knew who was going to betray him. That was why he said, "Though not all of you are." When he had washed their feet and put on his clothes again, he went back to the table. "Do you understand," he said, "what I have done for you to you? You call me Master and Lord, and rightly so I am. If I then, the Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you should wash each other's feet. I have given you an example so that you may copy what I have done for you." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
At the beginning of Lent, at Ash Wednesday, I spoke of how Lent is not so much as focusing on the sorrowful and sufferings of Christ or us, but rather a love story between us and God. And tonight, you see the reading reflecting that. Jesus himself in the Gospel said, he showed how perfect his love was for those who belong to him. Of course, he knew that he was going to be handed over to be sacrificed for the sake of all those he loved. But at the Last Supper, he got up and washed the disciples' feet. We all know this passage very well. Every year we listen to it. We listen to all kinds of homily reflections on what washing the feet is all about and everything. But then, it's always a reminder to us why Jesus did this. Of course, if you look at the situation in Jesus' time, and even now, you cannot imagine a master washing the feet of their slave or servant. We don't do that. I mean, if you look at today, do you see any employer washing the feet of their maid or their servant? They don't. Or more often than not, they get scolding. So it is unheard of for someone who has servant, or rather someone who has a higher stature, to wash someone's feet who is lower stature. But here, we see him doing that. And his question to his disciples, of course, was, "Do you understand what I am doing?" Because if he had given the chance for them to answer, they probably would have they probably wouldn't be able to answer. Because I don't think any of them understood why he washed their feet. But the next few lines gives us perhaps an indication. Because he told Simon Peter, when Simon Peter said, not just my feet, but my head as my hands. But he said, if you have taken a bath, you are clean. But not all of you are. But then if you are clean, why do you need to wash your feet? Our feet brings us everywhere. True now that our brain also brings us everywhere when we daydream and whatnot. But you cannot take out our brain to put in a washing machine and wash. We can't do that. We can only wash our legs. So, when our feet brings us from place to place, it may bring us to places that are not so desirable. No places that are not so perhaps sinful, or brings us to places that we are not supposed to go. And so by washing the feet, washing the dust off the feet, is like cleansing us of all the past places that we have gone to. And so Jesus, what it does is, when he washes the feet, it's as if I'm wiping whatever you have done away, and now you are clean. But like I said, not all of you are, because Judas is going to betray him. So his feet will continue to bring him to do what is evil in the sight of God. And so when we are cleansed of our sins, when we are washed, because not everybody will get their feet washed, but it's telling us also, it's like a reminder of our baptism, the washing of our sins away. And of course, the other thing is, he's telling them, if you call me Lord and Master, I did this for you, then you should do the same for others. Now, it doesn't mean that he's getting everybody to go and wash everybody's feet. We don't do that. What he means is, it doesn't matter what position or power, authority, or level of knowledge the person has. The most important thing is, are they humble enough, or are we humble enough to bring ourselves down to serve one another? Because sometimes we let things get to our head when we are too famous, we are too well known, we are in a position of high authority, whether it's in the church or outside, or we have a lot of knowledge in our head and become too proud of ourselves. Then we are not able to lower ourselves down to serve the people. And this applies to everyone, priests, religious, bishops, whoever it is, as long as we are human. It doesn't mean that priests are, exempt from this. No. The fact is, we fail to serve a lot because we let our perceived fame or authority go to our head. And that is when the danger comes. True humility is about acknowledging who I am before God. If Jesus gives an example to us, all the more we should do this to others. If you have seen a paddy field before, or a bamboo plantation or bamboo plant, or take the rice field, I think that's a better example. You've seen a paddy field before, it will grow, it slowly grow, right? So the stalk is empty, it will stand straight. But as the stalk flowers, the top will come up with all the grains of rice and becomes heavy. So once it becomes heavy, it will start to bend down, because it's heavy. Empty stalks stand upright. Full grains is always bowing down. So it is the same for us. The more we know, the more we have experience in life, the more wisdom we have, the more humble we should become, not proud. We are proud, yes, of who we are, but we should not use that pride to put others down. And that's what we mean by the grain bowing down before God. And that should determine how we live. Because the humbler we are, the more we are able to serve one another without asking for reward or recognition. And that is something that Jesus teaches us in this account of the Last Supper. It is not so much of the physical part of washing somebody's feet, but it is about serving one another humbly, regardless of who they are. Even though they may be of lower stature than us or poorer than us, it doesn't matter. It is our heart, which is after the heart of Jesus, that matters. And this is something that we need to cultivate every day of our life until the day we die. because we will never be able to fully accomplish it. But at least we are faithful to that call to imitate Christ in His service. So let us, as we enter into this passion and death and resurrection, let us, together with Christ, undergo our own passion to put down our ego, our self-righteousness, to put down our pride, and to nail it to the cross, so that when we resurrect with Christ, we become a new person. 今天耶稣的最后晚餐，其实我们听了很多遍了的，每一年都听到一样，可能不一样啊，每年都不一样的，但是道理我们也听很多了，因为今天早上也看到很多人一直传这个神父讲的道理，那个神父讲的道理，全部讲到很好，所以还需要讲吗？还有什么东西可以讲的？其实对我来说，虽然它的重点是耶稣洗脚，但是重点不是真正的重点，重点是什么？是服务。因为他问他的门徒，你们明白我所做的，刚才做的，但是耶稣没有给他们机会回答，因为我觉得就算他们能够回答，可能会给错的答案。所以耶稣是要指出的说，你称我是你的老师，你的主，我现在为你们洗脚，你要彼此洗脚。他没有说你真正的去洗别人的脚。洗脚是什么意思？就是我们的脚能够带我们到很多地方，我们要去哪里，到处都是用我们的脚的。你要开车也是用脚踏 brake 踩油的，你要用什么都要用脚的，走路也是用脚。所以我们的脚可以带我们去好的地方，坏的地方。到回家我们回家肯定会洗脚的，因为是肮脏嘛，有时候很多灰尘啊，不然的话我们家里也是很肮脏。所以那时候耶稣就说，你们跑了很多地方，就等于你们犯了很多罪，所以现在我帮你洗掉你们的罪。波多禄的答案也是对我们来说很重要，因为他说不只是我的脚，头带手也是洗。但耶稣说你洗澡了，你已经干净了，只是因为脚，所以他讲你们全部都解清了，除了一个，因为他知道犹大祭司他还是会出去出卖耶稣，他的脚会带他出去走，他们已经全部在那边停止没有走了，所以洗掉。我们也是一样，当我们临洗的时候，耶稣已经把我们的罪过洗掉了，就这样子。但是我们还是会犯罪，所以要常常洗，所谓的个洗脚，就是和好真事等等。另外一个重点就是，因为他对伯多禄说，跟门徒说，你现在不明白我所做的，以后你会明白。因为他是那时候跟现在，一个主人不会帮他的仆人洗脚的，没有可能的事了。我们可能会骂罢了，不会帮他洗脚的。但是他是说，我一个主人，我一个主，我是老师，我洗你们的脚，我这个身份的人，我可以谦卑的洗，你们也应该这样做。我们什么身份都好，什么地位都好，我们懂得多，懂得少，也是要谦卑的说，我愿意服务。就算我们服务的人地位还是比我们低，我们不能说你不配我服务，这是骄傲。我们可以说我们知道认知自己，我们的地位是我们有一点骄傲，但是如果我们用骄傲去压别人的话，那就自己活该了。我们不能怪别人了。而耶稣就是说，他是成为老师，成为主，他去服务每一个人，什么身份他都不管。我们也该这样做。刚才我提出一个例子，就是你去一个田，他们种米它长的时候还是空的， 但是还会慢慢开花的。开花的时候，它会越来越重的。它还没有开花的时候是直的，开花过后有米的时候，它慢慢点这样子。就是我们懂得越多，智慧越多，身份地位越高，我们也要更谦卑。那些站直的是头脑是空的，就算有地位，脑是空，这是没有用。所以谦卑就代表我们更有智慧，更能够看到我们在天主面前也是一位仆人。所以今天耶稣教导我们，就是把我们的骄傲，把我们的自大钉在十字架上，跟他一起在十字架上。到复活期的那一天，我们跟他一起复活的时候，变得一个新的一个人。Dalam perjamuan terakhir Yesus dengan para rasul dengan murid-muridnya, kita semua tahu apa yang terjadi, terutama bila dia membasuh kaki murid-muridnya. Itu kita tiap tahun dengar. Kadang-kadang kita pun ada dijemput untuk menjadi salah satu murid-murid yang dibasuh kakinya. Tetapi apakah yang paling penting di dalam Injil hari ini? Bukan semata-mata membasuh kaki, tetapi persoalan Yesus kepada murid-muridnya. Adakah kamu paham apa yang aku buat kepadamu? Kamu panggil aku itulah lupa dia punya, bukan cikgu. Kamu panggil aku Tuhan, tetapi aku sebagai Tuhan sekarang merendahkan diri untuk membasuh kaki kamu. Kamu sebagai murid aku ikut teladan aku sekarang. Tetapi kita juga tahu yang Simon Petrus, persoalannya atau jawapannya kepada Yesus, jangan basuh kaki saja, basuh kepala, basuh tangan. Tapi Yesus berkata, siapa yang dah mandi, sudah tidak payah basuh lagi. Apa yang dimakna ialah badan sudah bersih. Tetapi kaki paling penting. Sebab kaki membawa kita ke tempat-tempat yang kita nak pergi atau kita tak nak pergi. Kadang-kadang kita curiga nak pergi. Sebab kaki kita boleh membawa kita ke tempat yang bagus atau tempat yang berdosa. Itu sebab kaki perlu dibasuh. Tiap-tiap kali kita balik rumah, kita basuh kaki. Sebab banyak debu, banyak abuk. Kalau tidak, rumah kotor. Jadi bila dia basuh kaki muridnya, dia berkata kepada mereka, kaki kamu sudah pergi banyak tempat, banyak dosa. Sekarang aku basuh, dosa kamu semua sudah dibersihkan. Sama dengan kita. Tetapi dia juga berkata, salah satu orang kamu tak bersih. Sebab Judas Iskariot, dia masih guna kaki untuk mengkhianati Yesus. Dia lepas perjamuan dia pergi. Itu sebab dia kata salah satu kamu tak bersih, yang lain semua sudah bersih. Sebab mereka akan terus mengikuti Yesus. Persoalannya ialah kenapa Yesus bertanya kepada murid-murid, adakah kamu faham apa yang aku buat? Kamu panggil aku Tuhan, aku buat macam ni, kamu harus meneladi saya, aku. Ini berkaitan dengan kerendahan hati. Sama ada kita seorang yang bernama, seorang yang bijak, seorang yang kaya, terkenal, apa-apa pun, itu tidak penting. Apa yang paling penting ialah apa yang Yesus cakap. Walaupun aku sebagai Tuhan, aku sanggup merendahkan diri untuk membersihkan, membasuhkan kaki kamu. Kalau kamu fikirkan, orang yang ada banyak pelayan atau banyak hamba-hamba abdi, adakah mereka akan membasuh kaki mereka? Tidak. Kena marah adalah. Jadi, dia memberi teladan, berkata, Tak kira siapapun yang kita melayani, kita harus melayani sebagai Yesus melayani murid-muridnya. Sebagai Tuhan melayani umat-umatnya. Kita harus merendahkan hati kita. Tadi saya bagi suatu contoh, kalau kita pergi tengok orang tanam padi. Padi bila dia tumbuh, mula-mula memang tegak. Tapi bila dia dah keluar, bunga keluar, padi dah keluar, dia keluar, dah berat, dia akan tunduk. Jadi orang yang banyak pengalaman, orang yang banyak kebijaksanaan akan lebih rendah hati. Yang diri tegak biasa otak kosong, hati kosong. Yang tunduk itulah orang yang benar-benar rendah hati. Walaupun apa jawatannya, apakah kaya atau apa pun tak apa. Mereka tahu mereka harus seperti Yesus. Jadi kita sebagai umat, kita sebagai murid-murid Yesus harus membawa ego-ego kita ke salib untuk meninggalkannya di sana, dan bila kita bangkit dengan Yesus, kita bangkit sebagai umat yang baru, yang sebagai Yesus bukan menghambakan diri, iaitu juga merendahkan diri kita untuk melayani sesama, tidak kira sesiapa pun. Sebab kita harus menjadi seperti Yesus yang melayani semua tanpa berkira.